Hey guys, welcome back to the Love Walk channel. I can't wait to get into today's lesson. We're going to be getting into Ephesians 5:5. Let's get into the word. Pow. So in Ephesians 5:5 it says this: "For no one recognizes this. Every sexually immoral or impure or greedy person who is an idolater does not have an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God." So basically, let's break this down. So first off, what is an idolater? Like, what is that? Well, the word idol means worshiping something else, like an item or anything like that. An idolater means you're worshiping something else other than God. That's pretty much what that means. So according to Athenius, the Ephesians were actually addicted to luxury and sexual vice. So this is something that was obviously from the flesh. This is something that it's the works of the flesh, because our flesh desires stuff too, just like our soul desires stuff. Like our soul desires God, and when we get more into the word, we desire more of God, and we get more hungry for it. But our flesh does the same thing. Our flesh gets desired for the stuff that we used to do before we were saved, and it'll just grow and it'll grow on you, and then eventually it'll become so much you won't know what to do. But here's what you do: you pray. You get back into the word. You can ask God, like, hey God, what do I need to do to stop this? What do I need to do to redirect myself and focus more towards you, and to not let this temptation come over me, and not to idolize you, because I don't want to put this temptation over you. Now, if we want to go a little bit deeper in this, just in Ephesians, we can go into like light versus darkness, and the first literally light versus darkness in chapter 5 verse 6 is, "Let no one deceive you with empty arguments, for God's wrath is coming on the disobedient." Let no one deceive you with empty arguments. What does that mean? What does that mean? That pretty much means their arguments are really not worth having at all. Like, if someone is really just trying to dig at you and is really just trying to start an argument with you for no apparent reason, they're just you're like, hey dude, what are you doing? Step off, literally back off from me. Like, that's what you're thinking in your mind. But you cannot engage in that. Don't engage in those arguments that person is trying to start with you, because it's not gonna turn out well for you at all. Then the next part of this is really good. It says, "Because of these things, therefore, do not become their partners." All right, ready? For you were once darkness, and now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. That is amazing. Listen to that. Live as children of light. You were once darkness, and now you're brought into light. You are a new creation. Don't let the old stuff try to drag you back, because that'll happen. That's what the devil will try to do. Let's be honest. The devil will try to pick the one thing that he knows will just drive you crazy. It'll literally just drive you crazy, and it'll make you want to just fall back into that old life. And guess what? You have to break through that, because you are a new creation. You were once darkness, and now you are light. I also really like what verse 11 says. It says, "Do not participate in fruitless works of darkness." Now, what does that mean? Now, here, let's see. Fruitless works of darkness, okay? Fruitless works of darkness is things that could be, things that people tempt you with. Like, say your friends are trying, like, maybe they're not even your friends, just a group of people you used to hang out with coming back to you, right? And they're like, hey, we got some new drugs, we got some new beer. It doesn't even have to be that. It can be just stuff like, swearing again, or stuff that you just used to do that's old habits. And then it'll come back, and then you're just like, what? Why? And then you'll be like, oh wait, well, I mean, that's kind of interesting. I kind of want to go back to that, and then you could fall back in. But what you have to do is you can't do that. Like, God knew what he was doing when he was telling the Ephesians this, because like I said before, the Ephesians, they were accustomed to, living in luxury, and they were just addicted to sexual addictions. And, God knew he had to explain this to them. And, he knew that we would have to look at this one day too and reflect off of it, because we all go through the same things, we all go through that. And, we just have to realize that, we were once darkness. We once lived in darkness. We once went through the things that were in darkness, and we weren't happy. We were less happy, and until God came and he's like, let me show you the light, and then he brought us into light. So I'm going to finish this out here with this, just finish out this this reading of chapter halfway through chapter 5. This is not the whole thing in chapter 5. We'll continue chapter 5 next week, but we'll just finish out this section. And so it says, "For it's shameful even not to mention what is done by them in secret. Everything exposed by the light is made visible. For what makes everything visible is light. Therefore it said, 'Get up, sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will shine on you.'" Get up, sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. And I just love that, and it's amazing that, stuff that you try to keep, secret sin that tries to keep from you, you can't always keep it, because once it's brought out, it's shined with that light. And you know what, it's just way better to be like, "Hey God, I messed up," because it's just you and him, it's just you and him just talking, and you're able to go to him and ask for forgiveness and be brought back into that light, and it's amazing. So I'm just gonna say this last verse again before we go, because it's amazing. I love this part. I'm just gonna say that before we close here. So it says, "Get up, sleeper, rise up from the dead. Christ will shine on you." Alright guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are awesome. See you next time.